Now, elaborating on, what the coaching staff's preparation was like, head coach Lee Ji-hoon says, well, we have a fantastic coaching staff with Coach Oh and Coach Jung, but the most notable point for him was that MVP actually tried to play somewhat of a mind game as they did in the wildcard match against Afrika by selecting the red side, right? And what that basically means is that MVP wants to introduce something new, something novel, by taking that last pick on the red side. So overall, he says that was one area that they really noticed. And speaking on the Camille pick, head coach Lee says, watching SMEB play Camille, I actually wanted to hit him sometimes, of course, jokingly. But he says, it feels like in a lot of KT's losses, and especially against MVP during this season, it feels like the players kind of have anger management issues where they commit way too hard or they engage way too hard. And sometimes he just kind of wants to see the players back out a little bit more or take it easy. And again, he feels like that's one avenue where the KT ROLSTER coaching staff and the team in general should be working on as they move forward. Now in set 2, they did first pick that Kennen as well, or early picked it. What was the reasoning behind that, playing Kennen into the Scion? And Score says, we definitely expected the Scion to a certain extent once we locked in the Kennen, but SMEB is also really confident with that Kennen pick, so we basically talked about it. It doesn't matter, let's just play whatever comes out. Now KT also made a lot of Syndra bans against Ian. And head coach Lee complimenting, Ian's expertise on Syndra, saying that, well, Syndra itself is a really strong pick, but we think that MVP's strongest points are their ability to, chain CC together. And in terms of that, Ian's Syndra is almost machinic in how accurate his stuns are. So like everybody thought, they reasoned that once we take that Syndra out of the picture, we should have a much more easier time going into this game. So Score, you're here representing the team as the captain, but which player would you like to point to as like the true MVP here? And Score says, I don't think I could choose, everyone played well. And he says he would like to divide the honor among all teammates evenly. Now, was there a particular moment where he felt like they really won the whole series in the third set? And Score says, even when we got wiped, we noticed how much resources the opponents were pouring into, pulling that result off. So we kept telling each other, it's okay, it doesn't matter. We should be able to come back into this. And head coach Lee says that's really what you expect from the captain, or at least I believe that's what he said. Also saying that we also learned that there's a reason why MVP is so strong, right? Even though it was a 3-0, it really was a showing from MVP. And he feels like it was a very worthwhile series to play. Now the only thing standing between KT and the finals is Samsung Galaxy. What does Score expect from that match? And Score says a lot of people correctly assume that Samsung has a lot of strength in their mid and jungle roles. So I think it's up to me and Pawn to handle that and show a good result there. And finally, a message to the fans. Score says KT typically hasn't had a lot of success in the spring, so that just makes me want it more. So I want to defeat Samsung and make sure we go to the finals for our fans. And head coach Lee, I believe, said, well, now the trials begin, right? And no disrespect to MVP, but just comparatively, Samsung's just such a more intimidating team or stronger team, especially because they have such bad memories against Samsung, or more so about their rivalry against Samsung last season. So they're really gritting their teeth in preparation, and they're going to get a good result. And that's it for the MVP interview with Score and head coach Lee from KT ROLSTER.
So there you have it. Really lots laid down on the line. A lot of stuff we definitely expected to. The KT members expecting the same from Samsung. Definitely a hard match coming up tonight. If you missed it, if you're tuning in now, that's really bad timing.
Where were you, really?
Yeah, KT ROLSTER taking the 3-0 over MVP. And you can see MVP was able to defeat Afrika 2-0 in the wild card. On Saturday, in 4 days, we will have the second playoff round. It is going to be Samsung versus KT ROLSTER. And then the winner of that will face off against SKT on the following Saturday. So make sure you guys clearing your schedules for both of those Saturdays to catch those games. Definitely going to be really, really close and fantastic games.
That's right. Like everybody said, it is the gauntlet from now on, especially because the two teams remaining is Samsung and SKT. So we'll have to see if KT could really make a claim and justify their super team status this spring, or it's going to be the spring of Samsung or SKT. But you guys could get tickets for that on TicketLink. And of course, it will be over at the OGN Sangam East Stadium.
Mm-hmm. So, looks like that's pretty much going to do it. Maybe some final thoughts here.
We had a lot of great memories on this analyst desk this season, of course. Just going down the list, we have Kanata and, of course, Bitdol, who's actually the usual caster / commentator, but also having appearances from Helios, Captain Jack, of course, Nancy Hyungkyung, so it was a really fun season overall. Hopefully, we could get you on the analyst desk next season.
Someday.
Someday.
5 years from now, Valdez speaking Korean on the Korean analyst desk. It's happening, guys. But it looks like that's going to do it for us, guys. So thanks once again for watching throughout the entire split. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next time.